Well, welcome to Success Secrets and Stories. I'm your author, John Wandolowski, of a series that's called Success Secrets and Stories. But we've started something new. It's a YouTube channel where I have an opportunity to talk about stories author to author. And I'd like to introduce the author today that we're going to share some insights, Edwige Gilbert. And she has done a couple of books. And I'm kind of excited to have the opportunity to share a lot of what she has been working on. But Edwige, why don't you tell us a little bit about the book in terms of why people should read it and the story behind, especially the title. I think the title of Victim to Victorious is awesome. Why don't you tell us the backstory?
And first of all, I want to thank you, John, for having me today with you on your show. I'm honored to be here. And yes, the title, Victim. Nobody wants to be victim, but we can be at times by circumstances, and mine were definitely victimizing circumstances that I will address in a moment. And it can be your mindset, being negative, being complaining, being a blamer. It can be about being trapped in a mindset that is of addiction, of unwanted habits and behaviors. So I believe that we always have a choice. It's not chance to be victorious. It's a choice that we have in life. And this choice can be made every day of our life, every minute of our life. So this is what I wanted to show, is that it's the power that we always have to be victorious. And we can go from that left side, I call it, like victim is on the left side of the book, right? I mean, on the screen, yeah. And the movement is this way. So I like my readers to imagine that the victim side is an empty street, very ugly, and it's snowing and dead branches, nothing grows on it. It's desolate. But on the right, it's a fork on the road. You have that beautiful Victory Street where everything blooms and colors and birds are chirping away. So this is the meaning of the title of the book. And anything you want to know about my story?
Well, I think you should tell your audience a little bit about the background of how you've helped people and especially the different kind of careers that you've had in order to help people. You have a wonderful backstory.
Yes.
I think that helps how you built the book.
Yes. So I got two books, but the story behind those books is my personal story. My parents, my mother is French. My father was, like you, Polish. And they met at the end of the war. They fell in love. But in those days, being a foreigner wasn't a welcome thing in my country. It's very different today. So they thought in those days to come to America to start their life, the land of opportunity in the 60s. So they came here with me as a baby, but life was tough. And my mother had to work, and they both worked. And I was kind of lost in the shuffle. So they decided to send me to my grandmother. But my grandmother lived across the Atlantic in Cannes, that beautiful glamorous town known for the Cannes Film Festival every year. So, but in those days, you didn't take a plane,
Right.
6 hours to go. you took a boat. So my mother found this nanny that she knew, and she decided to give her to her to travel across the Atlantic. But I was 3, so it was a tough journey, which I don't remember. But on the other side, I was pretty stressed out. And so I became, I was in the care of my grandparents, my grandmother. And she saw me as a fragile little child who needed protection. So every time I would venture to do something new, she would stop me and say, "You can't," and would do it for me. So I grew up very insecure, incapable, basically.
Sure.
So in my 20s, I decided to go and be with my parents, although I saw them through the years, but wanted to stay in France where I felt safe with grandmother. And so after I studied English, and I decided to come to be with them. However, the voice of Kant mindset still was very active.
Sure.
And then compounded by the big city, New York City, from Cannes, 300,000 people to millions.
Right.
I was so stressed that I took refuge, John, into something I don't recommend anybody do: bagels and brownies.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Pastry is my biggest weakness. Yes, please.
In the sugar and the starch and well, we know. I became very sick, hypoglycemic. I mean, it was awful. And I knew I had to find a way to get back up because I gained 35 pounds when I used to be a model, my first career. And so this was not me anymore. And at that point, I saw in the mirror, time to do something. So I went on a quest for change. And the quest took me to be a yoga teacher. My first experience was meditation, yoga. And then I saw that as I kept taking care of my spirit and my mind, my weight came off. So what I tell people, the issue you have is never the real issue. It's not the weight. It is your inability of knowing how to quiet your mind and to find a safe place within. And if you don't have that, the world outside is very scary for most of us, more than ever today. So refuge cannot be found outside. It has to be that you're able to withdraw it and what. So I study yoga, meditation, mindfulness, what else? Personal trainer I became, aerobic instructor. Then I decided to investigate into the world of addiction. I became an addiction counselor for substance abuse. And this is when my desire to help those people who were so stressed, if only I could find techniques to help them shift from victim to victorious.
And you came up with an interesting concept. You came up with a toolkit. You see, my book, I wrote it as a toolbox, a toolkit. You shared some great ideas. One of them that I thought was amazing is eating the raisin, and how you talked about eating a raisin. And obviously your knowledge in terms of the substance abuse and all the teaching, maybe you can talk a little bit about eating the raisin, because I found that interesting.
So yes, it's a practice that I experienced and kept giving it to my clients and patients. Take a little raisin, put it in your mouth. And most people would be chewing, swallowing. It was done in what,
Right.
10 seconds. And I kept saying, "Where's your raisin?" "What do you mean it?"
Where's your raisin?
Did you experience the taste, the flavor, the burst of texture and the thing? No. So let's get another raisin. Let's start over. And let me guide you now. And just hold the raisin. Look at it first. Squeeze it a little. You can feel that. Then put it right here on your lip. And you start noticing the connection. And then put it on your tongue. And then you got to go on one side, because one side of the mouth respond to the sour and the other side respond to the sweet.
Oh, I didn't know that. There you go.
With the raisin, you'll see what happens. So
Okay.
you roll it over, and don't put your teeth yet. So the journey was called mindfulness eating. Of course, it's an exaggeration. You're not
Sure.
going to take on your life eating like that. However, the consciousness, the awareness that arises doing just that,
To
and
be in the now. Yeah.
be in the now, and the senses, the taste, the words that you say. So it is an immersion of your five senses. And everything, mindfulness is really that. I think it's a big new fashion current, mindfulness. I have been doing that for 30 years.
Right.
My teacher is Thich Nhat Hanh, who is this monk from Vietnam, who created a center in the south of France for retreats. And he
Wow.
teaches mindful walk. You asked me, John, about the mindful walk.
Yes. 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 And tell the audience a little bit about the mindful walk, because it is such a wonderful example, again, of being in the now, to understand what that means.
I am a type A, I'm quick. Everything has to move fast. I need to move. I need to exercise. I need to go. I need to
Yeah.
And then stress comes up, of course, because you're behind schedule. And what happened if this happened? So I realized, for me, if I could just take a minute or two to just stop the madness, the monkey mind, as it's been called, right? Which never stop going up and down the tree and fast as it possibly can. So if I could shift to being in my body, and people forget that we can be more in the body than we need to be in the mind. So when you walk, you become aware of the action of walking. Instead of thinking, where do I go? How do I feel just walking? So you notice your feet. And Thich Nhat Hanh just described it. He's a poet. And he says, think of kissing the earth, the ground, with your feet,
I love that line. That is a wonderful line.
and touching the sky with your eyes.
Yeah.
And funny enough, we know that it does not make sense. However, mind doesn't know the difference between what's real or imagined. And if you really imagine, you will feel that you can. And the moment you can, of course, your mind is stopped. It didn't go in the past, future. You are right here now.
Right.
And it's just a fun, easy practice. And the reason is for eating. So
Right.
my weight, the reason I'm sharing that with you is not for showing off, to showing you that if I can do it, you can too.
No,
And
they're valuable tools in your book, and you have so many tools that you're trying to share for people to understand how to be more in touch. Like for me, when I'm walking, and when I realized your segment of the mindful walk, the first like mile, I'm consciously working on how fast am I going, what is my pace, how's the traffic, and all of a sudden on the second mile, it's like I want to feel the breeze, I want to hear the trees.
thank
I
you.
I'm trying to get past the mechanics
Yes,
of time, and I want to get into the feeling of wind in my
yes,
face.
yes,
And I think the kissing of the ground with your feet, what you do with your hearing and your senses, um, it makes the walk not a function. It should be an enjoyment.
yes.
If you're trying to make 17 miles, I don't think you're enjoying the walk.
No.
No, but if you're walking for a length of time that
Mm,
you've set aside,
yes,
and when you get back home, you feel that sense of satisfaction. The mileage should be an afterthought, not the purpose.
yes. And you know, John, that walking is a meditation. So when
Right,
people tell me, "Oh, I cannot meditate," and I'm wondering, what do they think meditation is?
right,
Meditation can be in any situation. It's being focused and present and using the hearing, the smell. So, of course, the breathing is the
right,
foundation, right? But breathing, again, it's in my book actually. You feel the air
mm,
tickling
yeah,
your nostrils. It's
right,
not just breathe,
right,
tickling your nostril and huh, touching the skin of your nose. And seriously, if you focus on that, it feels like you can. And the cold versus the warm. The cold is the good energy. Then you add words, calm, because when you breathe in, you want to calm down. When you breathe out, you want to let go of
yeah,
all these distractions, right?
yes,
So what people don't realize, most people, words have power. You cannot just say anything. And
right,
in the section of the book I talk about the words of the language of the heart versus the language of hurt. And women, especially in the privacy of their mind, they can be very nasty,
mm,
I'm ugly, I'm fat, I'm this, I'm that.
critical, yeah,
Yeah, critical. So the awareness that words are power and creates your feelings, right? Feelings.
yes,
So I needed to ban from my vocabulary. I can't. That was the beginning of my journey,
yeah,
studying NLP, Neuro-Linguistic Programming, which is the connection with words to your nervous system. And they made me aware that I kept hearing, but it was so automatic, of course. I can't. Anytime I would start something, I would hear, I can't. It would shut me down. So the moment I operated on I can, and then I added I do, because you need to take action. You
right,
can't just sit, say, "Oh, I can," and watch Bonbon, watch
yeah.
TV,
What are
and
you doing with it? Yeah,
and I will. I stay committed to this. I can. So this is really my foundation. I can, I do, I will. By the way, John, you can also use it as a walk. I can, what? Right foot. I do, left foot. I will, right? Yes. Can, I do, I will. Yes. So now it helps you get into that oneness, which is that exuberating feeling to be
I,
one with the
I
moment.
did notice that you had a lot of references to Buddha,
Yeah,
and
you.
a lot of what you're talking about, the things in terms of becoming more in tune with life, with the
Yes,
things of nature that's around you.
yes,
A lot of that was influencing what you wrote about.
yes. I love Buddhism. The reason is that being Catholic, I needed to be exposed to Buddhism as a philosophy. I'm not a Buddhist, no, but the philosophy is, and in my book, I have this, at the end of the book, it's a prayer called meditation prayer, which I do every day. And it says, may I be safe. May I feel protected. I. My Christian background is, no, don't think of you, the neighbor. So when I encountered that was just an eye opener, because the realization is if you are not at peace with yourself, how
Right.
can you help anyone else? So you start with you, may I? Then you
Yes.
picture, may you be safe on your journey. May you feel healthy and protected and joyful. And then may we, so we go from the little me to
Yeah.
the other and the world. And I thought, this is magnificent.
Yeah. Yeah. The humor that I have is that Buddha's a wonderful resource and someone who has the ability to communicate the skills that you need to understand for that personal growth. I did. My book was on business, and I quoted somebody definitely different than Buddha. I
Okay.
used Yoda from the Star Wars,
Oh, yes, I love
and
you.
then my favorite line is try not, do or do not.
Oh, I love it.
So whenever I would have somebody come into my office and say, I'm going to try to get that done, it's like, no, you already said no. Why don't you go back, think about it, and come back when you have a plan that you're going to do? Because if you're going to do your best, doesn't mean that you're going to get it done. I want the result, and I
Yes.
want you to put that effort in the result. That clarity to try to get someone to focus, I think, is but much better done by Buddha than by Yoda.
Oh, but it's
Uh,
same. It's that universal philosophy that even in the Bible, it's wonderful because you have the power to do what Jesus did.
right, the
I mean,
mustard seed, right?
mustard seed. And we forget that being victorious, which is my big thing in the book, victory. Being victorious is a choice. It's not chance.
Yes,
It's a choice you make every day.
yes,
And it's just by using a language, avoiding the should, avoiding the can,
yes, yes,
using I choose. I mean, if I say I choose to eat healthy, whoa, I got the power to
right.
do what I want. If I should, that means I'm punishing myself. You know, if I tell you, John, you should get your act together, you're going to argue and be, and
What?
we have a war. But would you like to choose to be more aware of? Yes. So it's about communicating first to yourself. Because if you know how to do it with love, being your own best friend, and I call it being your inner coach instead of your inner critic. And that's big. It's constantly awareness, power of questions. What do I feel? What did I say? Because you cannot fight with your feelings, but you can return to what you said,
Right.
that you thought, that created this feeling, which got you to do something and get you a result. If I wake up saying, I am an idiot, I'm not going to feel good and
Right.
take the action to go and
Down
do
you go.
a podcast with you, right? I would
Right.
be sitting there like, "Eh." And confidence also has to do with your body. And make sure you stand up and pull the shoulders back. And again, in the book, I have created this meditation I adore because it can be done. Everything is practical, John, right? So
Right.
to it, it's not like you sit an hour and meditate. No, you can take it with you anywhere you are. And there's 3 C's which happen to be recorded and available on my website. It's calm, centered, connected. So calm is the mind, and you picture a lake, quiet. All your thoughts, you drop it to the bottom, and then the surface is calm. Then you centered, where you gather all your energy back to the third chakra in yoga, power center. And the power center is I can, calm, centered, connected to infinite possibility, because it's a law of attraction, right? When you
Right.
feel good, you vibrate on the high frequency where you can attract the match of your desire. When people are feeling down and they say, I want to meet the man of my life, I said, you have to be the man you want to meet. The qualities that you want him to have, do you have them? Are you that person you want to attract?
Yeah. Yeah.
It's
Self-awareness is one of the, being reflective, being self-aware. Um, a lot of what you've talked about, I try to talk about it. I think in terms of leadership, from my business side of it, you're trying to ask people to, tune into how you're coming across. Your conversations mean something. Your attitude means something. How you're perceived is it shouldn't be a facade. It should be from the heart. People can see a facade in an instant.
I believe.
If they see your heart, I have an approach in terms of how I led in terms of leadership was empathy,
Oh,
to understand the other side of the conversation, still holding people responsible for the results.
right.
Empathy is one element of leadership. You also still have to get the results. So that piece of business, we're not in it for fun. Fun's different. That's when you're on the shore and you're skiing. That's the fun. The work part of it is you're trying to be productive, but you can still enjoy the travel. You can still enjoy the ride. Yes. So anyway, self-awareness is something
Yeah,
that I have found that I tried
actually,
to teach.
you help me connect the pieces while you talk, because my whole concept is 2-step process. In the book, it's very simple. It's clear, and you create. So what do you need to clear? Unwanted habit, behavior, right?
Right? Exactly.
You cannot create without being aware of what needs to be taken care of. And
Yes.
people, I use a silly image of a window. You want to see the view. You were told there is a magnificent view, but the window's covered with cement, right? How are you going to see it? You got
Right.
to clean off the cement. Now you can enjoy
Let's
the
see.
view. The, the challenge people have, they don't want to deal with the discomfort. They want to
True.
go for, I want, my goal. Yeah, me too. But let's start where you are. You need to be confident. You need to be accepting of who you are. You need to be
Right.
more disciplined. Yeah. And and all of this, the source of all of this stress, because stress is life, yes? You
Yes.
wake up
Yes.
from
The only
all,
time that there's no stress is when you're 6 feet under. That's the only time there's no
and
stress.
people say, will I be stress free? I don't think so. However, you will learn to recognize the signs of stress and be able to shift to the victorious side. Click. And the way to do it, toolkit, is dealing with emotions.
And buy your book.
And by my book, by the way, did you see my blue hand?
I
Oh,
did.
okay. My
No,
blue
no,
hand
no. Tell me more, because it is a wonderful concept of the blue hand. Yes, yes, yes. Tell us more.
is my hand. Okay, I invented that. I really did by putting all kind of pieces together. So on my journey, I studied Eastern practices, Western, Eastern, Western, everything I could. Every weekend was a workshop and a certification in something. That was
Sure.
my 30s, my 40s. Yeah, I was going because until I felt, I have enough pieces. Now I'm going to make a soup, my French soup. So I went to several workshops for the hand. One was Chinese, and it became the sound added to the hand. Then it was Japanese, and then for holding fingers. And then it became the whole affirmation of the Western world. So you use I show you, left hand. That's left on the screen, right? Yeah. Each finger represents an emotion. And you can clear those unwanted emotions in minutes using this system. So you wrap the thumb. The thumb is anxiety. That is why we can pick children of the thumb. They don't use this finger or this. This you will know what it is.
I'm pretty aware of that one. Yeah.
So this one, so everything is clear, create. Clear anxiety, create calmness. So the sound Chinese used for thousands of years is is a hissing serpent sound. So you hold, you repeat the sound 2 or 3 times, breathing in and
Okay.
very long. And then you say, I choose to feel calm. I am willing to feel calm. I desire to feel calm, and I believe I can. So it's a progression. You cannot just say, I am now calm.
No.
Mine is going to say, whoa, whoa, whoa. So, you know what I mean? Again, it's, I choose. Yes. I'm willing. Oh, yes, I need to feel calm. So it's working on, and um, and you go through each finger. This one is fear. The other side is confidence and trust. This one is anger.
Anger.
And the sound. No wonder we use that word that start with
Right.
shh,
Yeah.
because this is the sound to clear the anger and create patience and kindness. It's shh, shh, you know.
Sure.
And
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
then you have sadness, sometimes being married can be, that's how you remember, or joy.
Yes.
This one, the little one, being overwhelmed, creating balance. So you have choice to do all of them in case of extreme stress, or just do the one you're dealing with. Oh, I felt anger. Hold the third one. Shh, 3 times. Sit. So then what does it do for you? It interrupts patterns, right?
Yeah. And
Instead,
it gives you a tool to work with when you feel these things.
instead
Yes.
of acting out on
Mhm.
your trigger,
Right.
boom, you hold the finger. And I use that with a lot of people in offices. When I was in New York, I used Barbara Corcoran, used to, from Shark Tank.
Sure. Sure.
And she actually um, gave me a testimonial for the book. Edwige
Awesome.
speaks from her heart. So again, she recognized that of me. But she would send me to all her offices to be helping realtors be more calm, be more focused, confident. And this was one, and they call it the blue hand. I call it Dextra, extra stress release at your fingertips. And so I have many meditations.
No, that's a great tool. It really is a great tool. And it really does bring
Um,
back a little bit of what you've learned on all those different formats. And especially since Oriental art, I'm sorry, the
yes,
Japanese and the Chinese understand the interconnection of the feet and hand to the body, and how you're trying to use those skill sets that you learned to help in a Western environment for them to at least understand and start to make a connection. It was very well done. I loved your book, as you can tell.
like
I
Qigong practice in my first book, which is a bigger version. I would love to send it to you. You would appreciate.
Well, that would be awesome.
Yes, I have many copies. The book was too big because I was so excited. I put everything that I knew in it.
Yeah,
A little overwhelming. It's like 250 pages. So the second book as was a request by this organization I belong to. I'm on the board of it. It's called Movies Making a Difference. They make movies to bring awareness about what's happening in our country, about human trafficking.
yeah,
In Arizona, there is a polygamous Mormon group that abuse children, raise them like puppy mills. It's frightening. And my friend helped them escape. So they are the survivors. And she said to me during COVID, she said to me, can you think of writing a book? And I said, okay, there will be techniques, easy, toolkit, boom, boom, boom. So it took me a while, but yes. And that is this little one.
that's awesome.
It has the broth of all my soup. It's the extract of my soup. And I'm so proud of it because it is the 101. Do you say 101? Like the foundation for people who don't know where
Right.
to begin their journey of transformation. Here, it has everything. I realize now, listening to many podcasts with Dr. Dispenza, right?
Sure. Sure.
Subconscious, subconscious, subconscious. Yes, we have been programmed by our childhood. I can't, grandmother, some of you, whatever you went through.
Right.
However, now neuroscience believes that we can change. We have plasticity of the brain and we can create a new neural pathway for a new habit. And it takes 28 days. That's why the drug rehab are 21 to 28 days.
Right.
And I got my idea from being in a rehab teaching 28 days. Then now it came out I've been ahead of my time just by checking it on me, and
Right.
everything has been tested on me. And I became confident when I didn't have half an ounce of confidence.
Sure.
I became excited about life again. Joie de vivre is,
Joie
I
de
mean,
vivre. Yeah.
it doesn't matter whether you look perfect and you're thin, and if you're not joyful and passionate,
Yes. Yes.
excited, yes, John,
Yes. Without
what
a doubt.
was
And I think the other part that I think is interesting, my book, I tried to do what you did. I tried to write it as quickly as I could in terms of somebody could read it and gather the ideas quickly. And I used a concept called the 1 minute manager. It
oh,
was an inspirational book in a business environment where I would get into these long dissertations on what I was trying to get across, and I've lost my audience. And that's what kind of reminded me when I was reading your book. It's to the point. Your point is made. You moved on to the next point. These are tools that you need to use. It
yeah,
isn't one tool, it's multiple tools, and it's ones that you think will apply. You've given them a laundry list of things that they can apply. So I did a little bit of the same thing, not as eloquent because yours was very much in the style of the 1 minute manager, where you're telling a story, you're giving the background, but you're giving that advice.
yeah,
This is what's going to make an effect. This is going to have a change if you apply it and
yes.
understand how to apply it.
You know what I see a lot, John? Thank you for bringing this up. People talk a lot. We need to be doing this and that. And everybody goes, yeah, yes, I want that too. But how am I going to get there? And
Yes.
I'm telling you, just do this. Now, not just once. You cannot just read the book. You have to use every day.
Yes.
And this is where people are a little distracted and don't realize that the mind doesn't change as fast as you wish. It's
Right.
especially if you had years of negativity, years of depression. You cannot expect to read this and be like, yes,
No, it doesn't happen that quickly. Steps. But what's the most important part?
yes,
The first step.
yes, awareness. Just realizing you want to change. By the way, talking about awareness, to help with the book, I created little cards for big difference. Each card, one a day. And you take that card, day one, I declare, I recognize where I am and that it's time for me to take charge of my life. Action. Take inventory of decisions you've made so far that have gotten you where you are now.
Excellent.
So
Excellent.
every day of the journey, you pick a card and it's action, declare, action. Again, I'm big into action.
Right.
You
Well,
can't
yes,
get
without a doubt. Apply it. Yes. And you have a few other things that you wanted to talk about too, that you were selling or
yes,
discussing. Could we talk about that?
yes, thank you. So I realized that when I do my um, my reels and stuff, I always finish victory to me, victory is mine, claim it.
Right.
Then victory walk, victory. So victory corner, victory everything, because this is it. We need to remember that we have the power to change at
Yes.
the speed of thought. So I'm creating a movement, and the movement has some accessory. I call it the
There you
Victory
go.
Collection. So for men, unfortunately, just for men at the moment, it's a bracelet, black and white. I sold so many, I'm running out. So it says, victory to me, victory is mine. So when you wear that on your wrist, for men, because big at the moment, you are reminded, and I'm working now with the polo players. They have my bracelet in Wellington, Florida.
Wow.
Victory! They need it. Polo is dangerous,
Yes.
competitive game. So this now for women, and it's very cheap. That's one thing. It is you attach to your bag, or it's a keychain. Yeah. It has 7 strips, and it has the quotes from my book.
Nice.
It starts with, I create, I manifest my desired outcome. I wear an armor of divine white light for protection on my journey. It has 7 strips.
That's
So
awesome.
when you carry it and you have a moment of stress or losing your confidence,
I'm
you
grabbing my thumb. No.
you look at your wrist,
All right.
or you look at your keychain. And this is the beginning, and the cards. And I also have posters of stories. So
Awesome.
I'm starting this victory collection. I mean, this is $15. Who is not going to want to?
And where can they find these things that you're talking about?
On my website,
Which is?
newlifedirections.com. But if
I'm sorry. Do that again.
newlifedirections.com. But if you Google Edwige Gilbert, I come up, newlifedirections.com. Yes, and you'll see eShop, and then we'll send it to you. And anything else, John, you want me to say? Or
No, it has been
time
it is
quickly, I'm sure. The time.
it has been an honor to have an opportunity to share, and I feel like I'm talking to a kindred soul.
Yes.
So
Yes. Yes.
and the sense of helping people is something that I've really been inspired to do. The podcast, and now this
Yes.
YouTube channel. So trying to share the message. A wonderful story. I think I can't wait to see your book. I'll send you mine, so we'll do a book exchange.
Please. Thank you. And by the way, the book is available on Amazon. Oh, and the good news, it's audio. So many people say, I drive, I don't read. Audio with my voice, better than today, which is a little cracky. And I have it in English, French,
Wow.
Spanish. So for those, in Florida, Miami is a big Latin community. It's in Spanish, and it's available also in Mexico and Colombia. So
That's awesome.
So,
That's
and
awesome.
France now, I have it on Amazon France. And this year I'm going to teach in French and share my techniques to my people, because I left many years ago, over 30 years ago. I go back on vacation, but I thought, no, I got to share more because the French talk a lot,
Okay.
action. So being in this country, I learned to be more action goal oriented instead of just talking for the sake of hearing your voice.
It has been an honor to have a chance to talk to you, Ed. So Edwige, thank you so much for your time. So I'm going to do a real quick closeout. This is a wrap of our series of author to author and our stories that we share.
Mm-hmm.
I just want to say that my website, authorjaw.com, is where you can find my book, Building Your Leadership Toolbox. Until next time, keep reading, keep writing, keep smiling. And thank you for all these stories. See you soon.